Another week has passed, and Apple has released iPadOS 26 Beta 7 for developers. With each update, we move closer to the final public release, and this new version gives us a clear picture of what the finished software will look like. Beta 7 isn't a massive overhaul, but it brings important refinements, bug fixes, and performance tweaks that polish the experience. In this section, we'll break down everything that's new, from build size and version details, to battery, life improvements, visual changes, and small but meaningful design touches that make iPadOS feel more complete. One of the first things to look at is the build size and version number. On an M4 iPad Pro, Beta 7 comes in at about 1.48 gigabytes. This is fairly typical for late-stage betas, where Apple is mainly focusing on fine-tuning instead of adding large new features. As with any update, the size will vary depending on which iPad you're using and which version you're coming from, but it's always a good idea to have at least 3 gigabytes of free storage before you install. The build number itself is now very close to what we expect in the final release, which signals that the release candidate should arrive within a week. From there, Apple is likely to push out the public version in early September, right around the time of the iPhone event. Battery life is always one of the most important things users want to know about during beta testing. Beta 6 caused noticeable battery drain for many users, so the question is whether Beta 7 fixes this issue. In day-to-day use, results will vary depending on how heavily you push your iPad, but the numbers show encouraging signs. For example, in intensive workflows like 4K video editing, thumbnail creation, and using the iPad as a live monitor, screen-on times of about 5 to 6 hours are possible. Lighter usage, such as web browsing or streaming, can extend that up to 8, 9, or even 10 hours. While not perfect yet, Beta 7 does seem to recover from the weaker performance seen in Beta 6, making it more reliable for daily use. Beyond performance, there are a few visible changes worth noting. The dock has received a subtle update. When entering wiggle mode, the dock now dynamically resizes depending on how many apps you place inside it. In previous versions, the dock seemed capped at around 15 apps, but Beta 7 allows up to 29 icons. As you add more, the icons shrink slightly and the dock compresses, making it possible to hold an impressive number of shortcuts at once. This flexibility will be a welcome feature for power users who rely on quick access to a large set of apps. The control center also has a new visual cue when editing icons. When you long press to customize, each icon now shows a pulsating white glow to signal that it is active and editable. It's a small detail, but it makes the interface feel more polished and interactive. Some users have reported phantom spots or ghost icons appearing during this mode, but this is likely a leftover glitch that will be cleaned up before the final release. Another new addition relates to battery notifications. Though it currently appears only on iOS 26 and not yet on iPadOS, when adaptive battery or adaptive charging modes are triggered, the system now shows a notification explaining why. This small feature helps remove confusion and gives users more transparency about what's happening in the background. While not fully integrated into iPadOS yet, it's a sign of Apple's broader push to make battery management smarter and more understandable. The liquid glass design, one of the signature looks of iPadOS 26, continues to evolve in Beta 7. Apple, that has been experimenting with levels of transparency, and this version strikes a nice balance between clarity and readability. Elements like the search bar and control overlays now appear with a smoother translucent effect, making the interface feel modern and layered without sacrificing usability. The search bar itself has been enlarged, making it more accessible and easier to use, especially on larger iPads. Performance across the system feels noticeably apps open quickly, animations are smooth, and multitasking works as intended. While this might sound like a small thing, it's exactly what late-stage betas are meant to deliver: stability, consistency, and confidence that the software is ready for a wide public release. Overall, Beta 7 doesn't introduce groundbreaking new features, but it confirms that iPadOS 26 is nearly finished. With improved battery life compared to the previous beta, smarter dock behavior, visual refinements in the control center, and a polished translucent design, this update shows Apple's focus on the details that matter for everyday use. The next step will be the release candidate, followed by the public rollout in September, where millions of iPad users will finally get their hands on this refined software.